Welcome to Screen Bytes, a podcast about video games, technology, TVs and movies. In this episode, Tommy's been to see Wicked. Are you talking into the right side of the microphone?
I am. Nothing's changed, hopefully, since I've been in the loft, except for...
It's going to take another minute. I didn't think you were going to be ready, so I got an ice cream, so I'm about halfway through an ice cream.
Oh, okay. All right, no worries. Well, while you're doing that, I might as well just, explain the background, the reason why I've decided to talk about Wicked. So today's podcast is about Wicked, the musical. So we got tickets from my parents around about Christmas time, I think, for a Christmas present. Basically, it was just one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, okay, great, thanks for that. I was thinking in my head, a musical, I don't really like these things. And my dad, he kept reminding me, don't forget you got this musical, your Mavi needs to book off time in June. You need to book off this June the 25th. I was like, yeah, don't worry. I'll get her to book it off. It was on a Saturday. So yeah, she manages to get it off. And we always do something different. We always do something surprising. So instead of taking the train down to London, we decided to take a coach. And it wasn't too bad. So we got...
Why would you do that?
It's something different. She wanted to do it. I didn't want to argue with her. I was like, yeah, let's get on the train. Let's go, But she was like, oh no, we can get on the coach. And to be fair, it wasn't a bad experience. We got on this coach. It cost £11 each. I don't know how much it would have cost getting a train, probably a lot more. And it literally just took us right next to the Victorian train station. So we didn't have to go any undergrounds or anything we didn't have to go to, because if we took the train, we have to go to St Pancras and then you have to go underground and get to the Victorian line. So we didn't have to do any of that. It literally just dropped us off at the Victorian, next to Victorian station, and it was literally across the road, the theatre.
All right, fair enough.
I think we left around about 11:30. Might have been 12:30. 12:30. The theatre started at 2:30. I told it the theatre starts at 2:30. It kicks off at 2, but it actually kicked off at 2:30. So I gave myself that extra half an hour so that she's rushing around trying to get herself ready. And she's like, oh, it's going to be tight because we didn't get there till 1:45. She's like, oh, we're going to have to run. I was like, we're not going to have to run. It doesn't start till 2:30. And you said 2. I was like, no, I lied.
Wait, hang on. If you're taking a coach, why do you have to make that? Because the coaches go at a set time. So half an hour is way too short of a time to kind of... Most people would have been there an hour earlier, so...
Well, the thing is, it did say, get there for 1:30. So the coach would arrive there at 1:30, and it didn't. It got there at 2:45. So it was only 15 minutes.
Especially going by coach. I mean, the likelihood of getting stuck in traffic on a coach is insane compared to a train or whatever. But
to be fair though, I literally was just trying to sleep as well. They have portable charging as well.
How long did a coach take?
Well, about an hour and a bit.
Hang on, you say you wanted to sleep?
Yeah, I went.
You can do that on the train. You can charge your phone on a train.
I'm not
How much did it cost?
Train, mate. What? The coach? I told you, £11 each.
Oh, I wasn't listening. I was eating my ice cream. Okay, fair enough. I mean, trains are a lot more expensive, so...
That's fine. 11 quid each. And, to be fair, we also had to catch the bus from the busway. That was quite neat as well. We got off the coach. I got, the really cheap bus that goes on the busway. It's £1.60 or something. Because we got, it was it must have been £2.60 because we got, a return ticket. Two adults, I suppose. I can't remember the exact price, but we got off the coach and then we just get on the bus and that was it, and then we just took us straight home.
Before you get into the theatre and before you get into Wicked itself, have you ever seen a show on stage, a musical theatre show outside of a school production? Have you ever seen something like this before?
Yes.
Oh, all right. What have you seen?
During COVID, they were offering NHS staff, you could get free theatre tickets, so we went to go and watch Singing in the Rain in Milton Keynes Theatre.
Oh, right. Okay. So honestly, I wasn't 100% sure. I wouldn't be surprised if this was literally your first theatre experience.
Well, I want to go, not theatre, but I want to go and see Cirque du Soleil.
Have you seen anything in London before?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot what it's called. There was another theatre. It was more childlike, but kind of not.
Yeah, okay.
It had diversity in it and stuff.
Diversity.
I can't remember the name. It wasn't a diversity of fit. It was there's a theatre and there's a story, but diversity, the group were in it, and then they started doing all their dancing and stuff. Part of
Oh wait, diversity is in like a group of singers or something.
The dance group. Yeah, I don't know but they were in it. Yeah. So yeah, I've been to.
Tommy, you surprised me. I legit thought this was the first thing you'd ever seen it on stage, but okay.
No. Well, there must be more, but I can't really remember. Like, you know what I mean? But Singing in the Rain, I remember because it wasn't too long ago. But what I will say, when I got to the door, I started panicking because.
Did you take the tickets?
No. So basically, my dad sent me the QR code.
Okay, yeah.
And I can tell he just took a picture of it on his phone. I don't know if
he took a picture through the camera of a computer screen
of the QR code, yeah,
instead of a screenshot.
Yeah, but the thing is, it worked. I was so panicking because I was like looking for my emails quickly. I was like, maybe he sent it to me in the email, hopefully as well. He didn't, and I was ringing him, and he wasn't answering. And then I went up to the guy. The guy just scanned it, and it worked. And then I had some I knew that we weren't going to have time for lunch, so I had some chicken in some foil, just like chicken nuggets and stuff to eat. The guy comes in my bag and he's like, get it all out. It's like I'm carrying a gun or something. What the hell? They were so rude.
Well, you're going into London, so yes, that's what they're looking for. But also, you can't take chicken nuggets in foil into a theatre. Jen is looking at me just as disgusted as I am for you doing that.
Really?
Yeah, you can't. Of course
We've
you can't.
eaten it. I ate it. It's not like that. I was like, it's just empty. I haven't thrown it in the bin yet.
Oh wait, you ate it on the bus?
Yeah, we didn't eat it in the theatre. We're not going to eat food. We're not going to eat the food in the theatre. We're not stupid.
Good.
It was just that we didn't have time to put it anywhere in the bin.
All right. Well, what you said is you had foil with chicken nuggets in it. What you have is foil, empty foil.
Chicken nuggets. It doesn't. When you eat it, there's still those little bits.
All right. You had.
It kind of falls apart, doesn't it? Chicken nuggets.
You had foil, couldn't find a bin. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And the guy's like, "Whoa, what's this?" And I was like, well, "It's just leftovers from chicken nuggets." It goes go on. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you.
Your cost-saving ideas are so weird.
It got me in the right panic. I was like, what have I done? And then I was like, where do I go?
Surely...
And then you go up there. All right. So I start going up there, and then it turns out I had to go up and round to find my seat.
Yeah, that's how theatres work. You can't go through. How is this any different to going to see a football match? I mean, you go in, you got security, mate. You can't take your food in because they've got their own concessionaries inside. You got to walk around to get to your seat. Literally, how is this any different to watching a football match? Why are you so shocked?
I don't know, mate.
These are also really old buildings. They're 200 years old? So you go upstairs, you go downstairs, you go up and around. That's normal.
But, so I've seen the posters. I've been in London a good few times, and you see the posters on the underground and stuff. I was kind of curious as a kid. I was like, that's interesting. What's that? But I never got taken to go and watch it. And
had you heard of anything about it beforehand, or just the posters?
No.
So you know nothing about it?
All I heard from the last few years is that because when I've watched Frozen with my kids, especially when Frozen 2, there was that big thing about the lead voice actress.
Oh, Medina Menzel.
Idina Menzel.
Idina Menzel.
So I did a bit of research on her. I was like, how she became so far? Because I am interested in stuff like that. You look up actresses and actors and how did they get the first big break? And I'm like, okay, she did this Wicked. I'm like, okay. I understood that that's what made her famous, so I had that in my head. But in terms of the story, I had no idea. I didn't even really understand if it was connected to Wizard of Oz at all. You know what I mean? I thought it was just named Wicked. I honestly didn't realise it would be connected.
Well, it's sort of connected, but it's sort of not, because it's not actually officially connected to the original.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't even know that it was trying to be a sort of
a prequel.
A prequel kind of thing. I didn't know it was in the same universe. I was like, Wicked? I don't know. It just didn't click in my head. And even I'm starting to watch it, and I'm watching it. I was like, oh, this must be a sequel. This must be a sequel to The Wizard of Oz. I got so confused. Even the first act. I said to Mavi, I was like, oh, so this is a sequel, is it? Or is it just
When was the last time you watched The Wizard of Oz?
A long time ago. But it is, you can't.
Do you know who...
You cannot unburn memories of that film.
No. What I'm saying, because do you know who this person is in that film? In that film?
Yes.
Because obviously in those films, both of the evil witches die.
Yes.
So
yes, they do.
If they
Yes,
die in
and,
that film and she's alive in this one,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
Well, no,
going
I
to
thought
be a sequel, is it?
hold on.
Okay, I'm holding on.
The first kind of act is you get Glenda or Glenda.
Glenda, the good
She
witch.
comes out and she starts talking, and you're like, oh, like she's talking after the Wizard of Oz. That's what threw me off.
Well, it's just that's just a narrative.
Yeah, well, that's what threw me off. I was like, oh, is this like, and then yeah, she starts explaining stuff. I don't know. I got so confused, man.
And Tommy, hang on. The story literally starts at her birth. So
It does, yes.
It does. So how on earth you thought this was a sequel to The Wizard of Oz? I know it takes place. It was like written like 50 years later or something like that. But I'm sorry, Tommy. Like,
come on, man.
Come on.
I got confused. I was like, it was really hard to like. Who is this? What's going on? Like yeah, but. To be fair, like the first act was kind of a bore.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. To be honest, I was kind of like trying not to yawn. I was trying to keep up, and it was annoying as well because this family next to me is a woman, and she's got like two children, two little girls, and one of them's like acting up, like she's laying down on the floor and I think that kind of threw me out of the experience a little bit because I'm like looking to my left a little bit, like what is she doing, and then looking. So I kind of.
I'm with you with stuff like that. It's like me and Jen, we used to go see shows all the time. Like we would go at least a few times every single year, and I remember having the exact same issues. So what I then did is one of the last shows we saw, I bought tickets that are they're in the box, and like the box, you know, it's
oh nice, yeah.
There's like 8 seats there, and okay, I only bought 2 of them, and it's like they weren't expensive, but I had bought like mid-range, like they weren't the cheapest seats. Like instead of being £45 per seat, they were like 95, and obviously you bought 2 of them. And despite spending all that extra money, there was still some drunk asshole in front of us who kind of ruined the experience, even though the show we were seeing was absolutely phenomenal and I really want to go see it again. But the audience have always let things down, and I've seen there's a couple of other things we've been to since then, like more music focused. We've had similar bad experiences with other people just in the audience, and it really takes away, especially when you spend all that money. That's also why I've not been to the cinema that much recently, just because it's like, what's the point of spending 15 to 20 quid to go to the cinema just to have someone ruin the film for you anyway? You just wait for it to come out on streaming or buy it or something like that. But I can understand if there was some kid next door like having a fit, that can kind of not help with the thing. How did you get on with the fact that a lot of it is sort of like musical? You have to like pay attention to during the songs, or you got used to that during like Frozen?
Well, no, even Mary was like finding it very hard to actually distinguish what they were saying in their songs as well. It was I don't know if it's because where we were sitting and it felt like they were shouting the songs out, you know what I mean? And there was a point I totally like understood where the plot was going, but at some of it there was a part where, if you remember, the Wicked Witch of the East accidentally turns one of the people into the Tin Man.
Oh yeah.
And then he starts shouting a bunch of stuff, the Tin Man actor, and I didn't have a clue what he was saying. And he was saying about the lion, the man that's turned into a lion or something. And I was like, is he trying to connect that as well? Like, what's going on? I just couldn't. He was shouting on like a balcony thing, and I just couldn't understand like what was going on there, what he was saying. But the rest of them, I got a pretty good idea what they were saying. I think the standout person was the man who played the what's the guy's name? The wizard guy. We have to see the
Oz, the wizard.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz. The guy that plays Oz. He was pretty good. He was good. You can understand exactly what he was saying and when he was singing and stuff. What he was saying.
Where were you? Do you know what seats you had?
So I was high up, near the front.
It's not too bad then. Were you off to the side or sort of like near the centre?
Bit to the left.
I mean, we've had worse seats than that to see Wicked. So,
but the first act was quite. It was a bit of a yawn experience because it goes through their school life and going through college and how she starts rebelling, and it's important to the plot. So if you remember about the goat, the teacher that's a goat, and he gets taken away because the Oz has decided he's doing these experiments about taking animals away or something. He's using them so that they don't talk anymore.
I have to say this carefully, and I have to kind of admit that...
You haven't seen it in 20 years?
No, we saw it like 10 years ago, but actually I remember being at near the end of the first act and thinking it was just such a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
That video you sent, obviously I've not watched it, it's Act 1 and it's like 1 hour and 25 minutes or something like that, or 1 hour 45 minutes. It's incredibly long, and that's just one act. And usually Act 2 is not as long. It's usually like maybe an hour instead of an hour and a half. But I do remember feeling, oh, this is incredibly long. And I guess the guy who wrote it is American, because it does feel just like an American high school film, doesn't it? Like... the way they're preparing for this prom, this sort of thing.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah,
and I mean, Jen and I were just watching a video of a song called "Popular," and it's just like it just feels like it could be something from like Mean Girls or something like that. Another sort of like high schooly thing from that kind of the time it come out.
I'm so popular. That one, huh? Is that the one?
That's the one.
I'm so popular, and she does the thing with her hair as well. It was good, but no, I think the ending of the first act is so strong though. That song.
What does it finish with? Defying Gravity.
Defying Gravity, yeah. And that I found out later.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did enjoy it, and then I kind of appreciated it even more when I found out it was Adine Mazel. Am I saying it correctly? Adina Mazel's signature song. That's what she's best known for. So, and then after that, it just got really good. Yeah, I was really digging it, and I really like the ending as well. I really like what they set up. I kind of like what they set up. Do you remember the ending? What they tried to do?
Talk me through it.
So basically, she falls in love with the prince.
Sorry, is this the end of Act 1 or Act 2?
Act 2. The ending of Wicked itself. Yeah, she falls in love with the prince guy. That's like he is a proper prince, and he lives in some sort of castle. And apparently that's what the castle that she is in Wizard of Oz is his castle or something, or his family owns that castle. Yep. So they try and explain that, and he gets like captured, and they hang him on they make him where the crow is. What the crow gets hanged on. Like a stick. So that person actually turns into the crow. Is he called the
crow?
What's his
Scarecrow?
name? The Scarecrow, sorry. Yeah, the Scarecrow. yeah, the Scarecrow. So then when Dorothy throws the water into the witch's face and she says, I'm melting. She doesn't actually die. She actually goes through a trapdoor, and then when everyone leaves, her and the Scarecrow go off in the sunset. So actually, the Scarecrow was keeping it secret the whole time through the Wizard of Oz that she's actually in love with the Wicked Witch of the West. And it kind of makes sense because he's the one who gets set on fire and stands in front of the witch, and someone gives her a bucket of water to throw at the Scarecrow to put him out so he's not on fire anymore. And it lands on the Wicked Witch, and then she does this, I'm melting. Oh, what a cruel world! And did you like that bit? It kind of doesn't make sense. Like, you would have to set that up so timely. Like, you would have to stand at that trap door, right? The door that lowers you below the ground.
Yeah, but that's the skill of the people who work on the West End and Broadway is big, like technical things like that. So you've got that in Wicked. There's another musical called Miss Saigon where they had a literal helicopter come through the stage to like rescue people. Like Miss Saigon is about the Americans in Vietnam. And could you imagine like a helicopter coming down from the top roof of the stage to kind of like to pick people up and everything? Grease, that show has the flying car. So it's actually quite common. Like, you have to remember, these people are professionals. Like, this is their actual job. So they are very good at it. So
I'm not saying the actual production. I'm actually saying as an actual story. As a story. As a story, it's telling you that she went through some sort of trap door.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
See, my mind does remember the trap door, but it doesn't remember the context around the trap door.
Yeah, because it reenacts the I'm melting. I've said that like 3-4 times.
Right.
I'm melting. Okay. She goes down. She looks like she's dead. right? Because they put a curtain up. The way the production does it, they have this curtain go around, and then you have like Dorothy, someone who looks like Dorothy, throw water and at the witch. You don't actually see it. You see it behind like a shadow of a curtain.
Yeah.
And
The
then
silhouette.
and so you're like, oh, she's dead. And then later on, when the scarecrow comes along, you're like, oh, what's he doing? And then she comes from out the trapdoor, and then I didn't work it out at first, but when he starts doing the actual walk as the scarecrow, like, oh, he was the scarecrow. He turned into the scarecrow. So I was quite impressed with that. So how they've linked it and like tried to make it out like it's actually like a love story at the end. It's an actual love, like he's made sacrifices to keep his mouth shut and go along with this silly plot of Dorothy's to try and trick everyone to think that the Wicked Witch of the West is dead. But she's not. They've gone off and they've hiding somewhere now, probably out there in Oz. Well, yeah, that's what I kind of enjoyed about it. I was like, that is a good, different perspective of the story, where she's not actually dead. It was all a ruse. But like you said, to set that all up, she would have to be standing right at the place of the trapdoor, and somehow they would have to simulate how she was melting and how she just totally vanished in midair. Wow. I suppose, yeah, with the trapdoor, you can do that. You're like, you just slowly, like, if you, like, gradually just start kneeling on the floor.
But if that was done, was that bit done in silhouette, you said?
Yeah. So you can't see it. Yeah. It's behind a curtain.
Yeah, so the advantage there is the different aspects of the silhouette can be at different, say, levels. So like the Dorothy throwing the bucket of water can be like closer to the curtain than the witch is. So when she throws the bucket of water over her, she's not getting covered in all this glitter, and she can just quickly go through the trapdoor without too much fuss. That's that's something how you can kind of trick things with things like the curtain and the silhouette.
But yeah, that's one aspect I did enjoy, but it kind of doesn't make too much sense when you watch The Wizard of Oz and then you do watch this theatre play, because they act like the Wicked Witch of the West is like kind of friends with Gilda.
Glinda.
Well, she changes her name from Gilda to whatever.
Does she? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm referring to her name when she was friends with the Wicked Witch. I don't know, mate.
I'm sorry, it was 10 years ago.
It's the name I remember in my head. But anyway.
But why is that so weird? Like,
they act like really good friends. And even after, like they act like, I really want to be with you. We can don't go off and this and that. And then in the film, it's like, be quiet, you silly woman. And that's
well, okay. One. Remember that film is like 80 years old.
I know.
And two, this isn't actually the same. Like, this isn't actually canonically from The Wizard of Oz, so it's not like even the same author or anything. So it's someone else who's just written something. But also, like, that can happen. Like so from what I remember, is like Glinda was being like a fake friend. You know, she was being friendly, but like not like truly a friend to.
Well, she was only trying to be friends with her because she kind of felt guilty in a way, and also she wanted to get it on with the prince guy, and she kind of suspects that the prince guy is not actually interested in her, but interested in someone else. But she doesn't know who that someone else is until she finds out later it's actually the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah. But it's like, you can be friends with someone for a bit and then have a falling out or have some reason to not be friends with them later in time.
It's also funny. I liked how they explained the Wicked Witch of the East, how she got evil. So she was in a wheelchair and then...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird. And then she did a spell, some random spell. I can walk again. And then, I don't know why, but for some reason they accidentally turned some guy into the Tin Man. I can't remember why. I think it's because he walked in, and because at that time the Wicked Witch of the West was like, you shouldn't be here, you know, get the guards immediately. Instead of like, she just put a spell on him that made him like unconscious or something, or dead. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, she accidentally killed him, and she's like, oh Christ, let me see if I can find a spell in this book that can revive him. And she finds a spell, and she tries to revive him, and then instead of reviving him, she turns him into the Tin Man. And that's why he started getting all humpy. He's like, look what happened to me. I mean, she turned me into a Tin Man. I couldn't understand what that guy was saying. He was like, and he started bragging on about the lion and the man. I thought that was like he was trying to bring that into it.
Well, who got turned into the lion? Do you remember who and how that happened?
No, that's the thing. He was just shouting that on the balcony, the Tin Man guy.
So you remember the Scarecrow, you remember the Tin Man, you don't remember the lion. That's not very helpful.
He never showed up. You know, he got mentioned in like past phrase. That's what I'm trying to say by the Tin Man.
Okay.
That's all I remember, and but I didn't understand.
Jen is trying to tell me something, and I can't read lips. Hang on.
The lion is the lion that she rescues from class.
As in a real lion?
Yeah.
Apparently the lion is a real lion that she rescues from class, and they turn into a human. What? This is weird.
That might be that might be true, because I was thinking the same thing, because at that, like, the whole point of the fear of the play is that the animals that... But there are animals that... who talk anyway, like, they don't need, like, I don't know, mate. Honestly, I don't know.
Honestly, I thought about having Jen in to talk about it as well, but I feel like she might go way too far into it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because Jen is a huge theatre nerd. Sorry, Jen. Yeah. So, I'm gonna. Like I said, Jen wrote out some questions for me. What was your favourite part of the show?
Defining gravity. That part.
Defining gravity.
Whatever it's called.
I'd like to try defining gravity. It's when an apple falls on your head.
I don't know, mate. All I know is it's a good song and
it's catchy. I know some people I used to do theatre shows with. They would use that song to like tune out the system to like change, make any adjustments to the system whenever they go to a new place. So yeah, it's a good song for that.
Well, I like it because at that point I was like, something needs to happen, otherwise it's just this is getting really bad. And then that happened. I was like, okay, this is good. And then the second half of the act was like very like the same as the last part of the first act. So I was like, okay, this is good. So the only thing I didn't like about that song, and it was kind of like bugging me while I was watching it, was the fact that, and subsequently I'm like, man, I'm such an idiot. But at the time I was like, she's waving around the broom in her arm. And I was thinking, when is she going to put it on? When's she going to put it on? Like, when is she going to actually get on the broom? How could she be flying if she hasn't got on the broom? And she's waving it around. I don't know. At that time, it kind of really just annoyed me so much. I was like, what's going on? Like, why has she not got on the broom? It doesn't make any sense. In a theatre, like, when you're singing a song, and it seems like if you watch, like, different people perform the song, that's just the way it's performed, where you put your arm out, your left arm out, and then with your right arm, you push the broom into the air, like you're doing a fist pump. So that's just how it goes. But at the time I was like, why is she not actually get on the broom itself? Because I thought witches, you could only levitate by actual getting on a broom. So for some reason that really bugged me. I don't know why.
Was she flying around whilst holding the broom? Is that
no.
But not
that was cool as well. No, she basically, that was really cool.
Did they do the levitating this time?
Yeah, no, of course. So basically...
You say of course, but we went through the whole pandemic and a whole lot of stuff in the theatre world changed, so there's no guarantee, actually.
It was exactly... So I've seen previous videos of that song in the film, and it's exactly the same. So basically, it's really good how they do it as well, because you got the Wicked Witch of the West talking with Gilda, and they're talking to each other and saying about, you are my friend, or this, we're going to be friends, or you come with me, we can ride off, and Gilda's like, no, I'm not so sure. And then at that point when she's like, I'm not so sure, she's like, they hear someone knocking at the door, and then the guards run in and take her away. And she's like, what are you doing with me? Let go of me. And then the Wicked Witch of the West is like, oh, she's not the one you want. It's not her. It's me. And they start running towards her. They start running at her. And then they just like flip. I was like, when I was watching it, they start flipping backwards like, whoa, like this. Doing this like, whoa. And she goes up in the air, and it's just like this. She's got like a big balloon thing underneath her, and she's in the air, and you're like, whoa, she's really in a commanding position. Like, and then there's that part as well where she gets to a part in the song, and then the crowd say, oh, she's a wicked, and you're like, it's just, some reason that really just gets to you, especially watching that live. That was really cool to watch.
What did you think I know you're a man of great musical taste and listen to Michael Jackson. What did you think of the music? Like,
it's good. Yeah,
theatrical music is so different to mainstream music. Like, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of it. Like, that song, "Defining Gravity," was quite good. See that song where you was talking about earlier about "I want to be popular." See, I want to listen to that. Like, to be honest, I want to listen to that one. But there are other songs in there that you're like, oh, okay, I maybe could listen to that again, like in the car, stick it on for the kids and stuff. And that's the thing. I was thinking, like, man, I think maybe Eva might have enjoyed it, but she wouldn't. I said to her, I was like, because I showed her some of the songs on YouTube, and I was like, this is what we went to go and watch. And she's like, oh, why didn't you take me? I was thinking, well, you've not really you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz. I put it on before, you didn't like it.
I think it's a little bit, I don't say it's mature, but I'm not sure it's really a children's show.
Yeah.
Like, teenage, but it's not a children's show.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. I think for that, like the kid next to me, like she was a lot older than Eva, and she was getting bored as hell. But because that was a lot of talking
and then the time as well. Yeah,
in the first act, there's a lot of talking. But when you get to the songs, just the songs, those bits, the children I could see love it. So if they just did a play which just the songs, I could see them being like, wow, this is amazing. But and then it's when they start talking and you get all these stories and intertwining, like stuff like that is intriguing for adults, but for children, they're not going to like that.
What was your least favourite part of the show?
Oh, like I said, when they got the first part, I was just so confused.
Just the entire bit.
Of the first part, I was just like, and then, it was a bit tiring, the talking and the college stuff, the high school American style.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I guess, the guy writes what he knew, but especially as we're not American, I didn't enjoy that bit either. It just felt a bit strange being in the setting that it was, but it was written as it was written, I guess, but
it felt like maybe if I was 10 years younger, I probably would have been like, you ever seen like horror films or any like early 2000 films where they try and be like cool and it felt like that. It felt like a high school kind of like, there's a bunch of kids, they're like early or late teens, say like
it's
18,
like
19.
like a coming of age movie, coming of age TV show, which I'm not a huge fan of.
It felt like that. And
would you recommend the show?
Absolutely, yeah, of course. Yes, if you want a different perspective of the events of Wizard of Oz, definitely. It kind of like, I was like, I didn't think of it like you could ever do something like that. Like to take a story that has been ingrained into your brain for so many years of watching, and you're like, that gave me a different perspective. This is great. This is just what I wanted. I kind of felt at the end, I was like, I never really thought of it like that. Like the Scarecrow being partner with the Wicked Witch of the West. That's great.
Well, that actually leads me quite nicely into the very last question, which is quite wordy. One of the main themes of the show is about wickedness and whether someone can be born truly wicked, or is it something they become based on their life experience. What do you think about that? Like Elphaba, who is, she's the Wicked Witch.
Yes.
Was she born wicked because she was born green as part of this? She come out of this relationship where there was something was going on based around that, or did she become wicked because of what then happened later on in life? Like, what do you think? Like, how did she become the Wicked Witch of the West?
Well, I don't think she actually even becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. The only part I felt as her as a person when I was like, I don't think what you're doing is actually good, and is the part in which she kidnaps the dog. She kidnaps Toto, doesn't she? She does something. And then the part in which the whole point is that she's actually going to relieve these monkeys, because these monkeys have been slaved from Oz the wizard, and he agreed to let them go if he was to leave, because that also plays in as well, where you're like, in the film The Wizard of Oz, he just like gets up and leaves, and you're like, where's he gone? Where are you going? Why are you going? And in this story, it gives you a reason why, because he made a deal with the Wicked Witch of the West that he would leave Oz and also give back the monkeys, and she wouldn't do anything to him. But then the way she treats the monkeys in the film, where they're stuck in cages and tells them to fly, is a bit crazy. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's kind of like mixed. It's like it's trying to explain it in the play where Gilda or even the prince, it might be Gilda, says you can't do this. You can't keep stuff captive like this. People get the wrong idea. And she kind of explains it like, I'm doing it for this reason, but it doesn't really. You're like, okay, I don't totally agree with what you're saying, but fair enough. But yeah, I don't think she actually becomes the wicked. She wasn't born wicked. And I think she set out to help the animals that could talk and then have been taken away of their rights to talk. But people have misconstrued that, saying that she's just an evil witch. And that's easily done, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in life where there's something that might happen and you as a person can see what is happening, but you don't know the full criteria of what is happening, and you don't know the background of that event. So as a person, you can't really judge someone because you're always proven innocent before proven guilty. So she's actually kind of in it. She hasn't done anything wrong because people don't know why she's doing it before, like why the reasons why she's doing it, and she's actually doing it for a good cause. In a way, I don't know, it's kind of hard. It's like on the borders of, she is kind of turns into this wicked witch of the West, but also she tries to seem like she's doing this for a noble cause. And I think that's when she tries to explain to her sister why she's doing this stuff. But then she ends up like causing more harm to her and messing her life up. But yeah, would I recommend the show? Definitely. I believe it may be finishing next year. That's what I hear. I'm not sure if that means it's gone forever, but maybe they're just stopping production and then in a few years or a year or two they'll start up again. But it's been going for years now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we saw it in like 2013, 2014. I know it tours around a little bit as well, so if you're not near London, you might be able to see it a bit closer to you. I know there's a version that's been around on Broadway as well for our international listeners.
But yeah, that pretty much wraps that up, I think. I would definitely recommend it. I'm not really a theatre guy, but I was entertained by the second part of the
There you are. June 2024 looks like the last date currently on the website. Doesn't mean they won't add more, but that's what's there in a moment. Thank you for listening to Screen Bytes. Follow us in your podcast app or subscribe on YouTube. So, how much time did you spend in London then? You arrived 45 minutes early.
Well, that was it, really, because we were like, we got to get home, we got to get to the kids. So we
just left straight away.
Yeah, it didn't finish till like 5ish or something.
About 5, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, it didn't finish till late, and then it took like an hour to get home. So then, yeah, we didn't get like home till like 6:30, 7. So yeah, but it wasn't too bad.
I mean, normally we go see a show. It's starting at 7:30, 8:45, and then we get on a train. That's about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So we're getting home at like midnight, half midnight.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage of your matinee. Matinee just means afternoon performance.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think it was good that it was in the afternoon. I probably would be dead, tired. If it was like really late, like to get there late and then watch, like I probably would have been like, oh, I don't know. I would have been like that girl on the floor sleeping. That's so annoying. That was so annoying as well. Like, come on, people out there, right? If your kid doesn't want to go and watch it, right, don't force them to go and watch it. There's no point. You're paying that money and they're just wasting the time, and they're wasting your time as well, because you have to keep saying, no, don't do that. Please get off the floor. Or you have to go and buy them ice cream that's like a small little tub and it costs you like £3 or £4. It's just not worth it, guys.